Go to the cloud. We care about right over here, guys. We care about right over here. Create menu buttons. That's where we create our buttons over here, right? That's where we create our buttons. Okay. And we run this function one time, but we have a for loop inside. And each time we run this for loop, we're creating individual buttons, all breakfast, lunch, shakes, dinner. Okay. So this is the part where we can add class, right? We need to find out if we are initial loading, if this one is the button is all. Okay. So we do have, as we said, that we do have a styling called where's my active, right here. Okay. So in each loop, when I'm creating this individual button, if I add active over here, what's going to happen? Every single one of them will be green. Okay, every single one of them will be green. But we don't want that. We want if initial the button name is all. Okay, if initial button name is all. So for that reason, what I can do here is that right over here, let custom class. Okay, you can leave it as if you don't assign any value, what's gonna be the value of this one?
Okay, empty. Undefined.
Yes, it's gonna be undefined. So there is a difference between empty and undefined, right? So it's either empty string but it has to be undefined because you're not assigning anything. But you can also assign a null initially, right? You can also assign it, but for now we'll just leave it as it is, like this. And this definitely belongs to option 2, okay? So what I'm trying to say is that I want to put the custom class, okay? If somehow the button that I'm creating, right? The button that I'm creating, the category name is equal to all. If the category name is all, then add this active. If only the category name is all, then add this active. All right, so let me pull a little bit to the right side so that we can see. And you know what? Let's just leave it as it is. So custom class. And right over here, I'm going to say if else. If cat name is equal to all, so for that reason, I'm going to do custom class is equal to, then of course I have to cut this one off, right? Cut this one off. Okay. And instead of class, like putting a string, I would like to put the custom class, like my variable name. Okay, my variable name. So if I put my custom class is equal to like this. Oops, sorry. I want to show you guys first. Okay, so like this. And let me just comment this one out first. It's going to be the same thing, right? The custom class is menu btn active. And I just put my variable name over here. But I want to display my custom class based on the category name. If the category name is all, then my custom class should be this guy right here. Okay. If my category name is equal to all, then my menu btn active should be that one. If my custom class is not equal to if my cat name is not equal to all, else part would be just the regular menu dash btn, sorry, without the active. Okay, if I save it, now there's going to be only all. My active custom class is applied for only all button. Is that clear?
Yep.
What do you guys think about this approach?
I understand everything. I didn't even know that we can put the variable inside the class name. First time I see that.
Yeah, we can put everything. We can change this class name. We can change any type of attribute. Okay, we can change any type of attribute for our HTML tags. It's just like we did. They changed the text content, right, or inner text of this HTML tag. we can definitely put the custom class or custom IDs, anything that we would like for these buttons. Okay, so all right, this is how we apply the active thing. Right, but the things change when we click every single button, right? And that is going to be menu btn click function. Inside our menu btn click function over here, we need to do some logic, like go through individual buttons and remove the ones that have active and put to the one that has the current one. Okay, so let's try to do that. If the category name is all, yeah, and the filtered menu items, that's fine. Every single thing, breakfast, it displays the breakfast categories. Drinks is fine. The only thing we need to do is get rid of this. Arrange this active class name into specific button that we are clicking. Okay.
Well, I just used the for each, that's it, built-in function. And just change the class name with the remove and then add like every time.
Right, we can definitely do that. But let's try to see so menu btn click function, right? So do we have any buttons? I mean, let me just menu buttons, right? The menu buttons is a container. Okay, menu buttons was the container. Menu buttons is the container. But I would like to get the buttons individually over here. Right? So for that, let me inspect and bring this one down. What I want is that document that query selector, right? And it's going to be all. I want to get all the buttons that have menu btn. Oh, sorry. I was supposed to put the dot in the beginning, right? So as you guys can see, these are all of my buttons. Okay, this guy is the card, the last one. This is the active one, and these are individual buttons. Okay, so right over here, menu button function, and I need to get the buttons. Constant buttons is equal to. I would like to just copy this thing right here. Document that query selector all. Menu btn. So now for each, right, for let btn of buttons, okay, btn of buttons. If I try to console.log btn that the class list, okay, save it. So now if I click shakes, it's printing out every single one of them, right? This menu active value is still for the first one, and all of them are the last. Okay. So right over here, I can add, first of all, I need to remove, right? Class list, sorry, btn.class list, that remove active, btn.class list. So if I click launch, as you guys can see, this green is removed, right? If I refresh, it's on all, but if I click any of the buttons, now none of them has active. Okay, I'm clicking any button which invokes this menu button click function, and inside it, I have a for loop which removes the active from all of these guys. Right? Which removes the active from all of those guys. But how can I assign active to the click it button over here?
You have to add the class again. So
yeah, the thing is that we somehow need to include the event. to this function. Okay, based on the event, I was going to try to say like event that target, right? Target that class list that add, and I was going to add active like this. But I don't have event over here, right? Usually we have event over here like this event, but we're not passing event over here. Okay, we're not passing event. For that reason, what we can do here is that we can pass the event as a first parameter. Okay, event, and then the category name. And now I can do event over here. All right, the category name would be still the category name. Console.log event is the event that we need. Console.log category name is the category name that we need. Okay, so breakfast event is the pointer event, and the category name is breakfast. Dinner event is still the pointer event, and the category name is dinner.
And what does it mean, pointer event?
It's a pointer event. So all of these HTML tags, they somehow generate an event, right? Whether it's a click event, whether you type something, right? Key up or key down, or the change event, okay? Whether you have like a checkbox, they all of these HTML tags have an event. They somehow, if you click them, if you type something, they somehow generate an event, all right? Based on the action you are trying to do. For buttons over here, they generate an event, but most of the time we don't need those, okay? Most of the time we don't need the events, okay? But in this case, since we need the event because we would like to apply a change, a styling change for the button that I'm clicking, right? For the button that I'm clicking. So if I say event.target, it is basically pointing me to the same button that I'm clicking. Breakfast, as you guys can see right here, button, breakfast, class name, and the content is breakfast. Kids, kids. Okay, drinks, drinks. All right, so right over here, event.target, that style, that color, I can change the color. Okay, event.target, that right over here. The color is equal to, for instance, red. Okay, I would like to change the color to red for the button I'm clicking. Shakes, see, the color change it. Drinks, the color change it. Lunch, the color change it. Okay, I'm changing the colors to the button that I'm clicking. So in that case, if I'm clicking and the event.target is the button that I'm clicking, then I can make some changes, right? Right over here, what I can say is that event.target.class list at active. All right, so now if I click breakfast, see, doesn't have green background anymore. Drinks, breakfast doesn't have background anymore. Shakes, it's basically, first of all, we're removing from all of them. And right after that, we're assigning this active to the button that we're clicking. And everything is happening inside this menu btn click function that we have for each individual button. All right, if you don't want to go with the event, it's going to be a little bit trickier because you need to find the button that we are clicking. Okay, we need to find the button that we are clicking. All right, let's try to find a solution where we can, instead of using the event, we can use something else. So if I do keep the event option over here, Okay, event option over here, script, event, okay? And I would like to work on this script itself. So event is fine. This solution is with the event. And this one is without the event. Okay, so we don't have event. If I don't have event, then I don't have to worry about that one. Okay. Again, what I would like to do is I want to run a for loop again, and based on the category name, okay? Based on the category name. So I'm running these buttons, right? And every single button has console.log btn dot inner HTML. Okay, if I click launch, it's gonna show me every single one of them. Okay, all breakfast, lunch, shakes, dinner, blah blah. But I have cart category name too. This category name is exactly matching with this btn inner HTML. So what I would like to do here is that if if inner HTML is equal to category name, in that case, put the btn that class list, okay, btn that class list that add, we can add the active styling, active class. So now if I do lunch, now lunch is displaying. If I do dinner, the dinner is highlighted. Kids, the same thing. Okay, what I'm thinking is that I can just pull this guy, instead of running 2 for loops, I can do in the same for loop right here, right? I don't need the second for loop. Okay, so breakfast, shakes, drinks, kids. That's gonna be without the event. Any questions over here?
No question, but I would never be doing with myself, like how too difficult.
I understand.
I totally forget about the category name. We have the category name.
Yeah, every time we click a button, we're passing a category name when we click it over here, right? On click, and we're passing that name. And based on the category name inside the function, we're running for loop and comparing the inner HTML with the category name that we clicked. Right? First of all, we remove the active, and then we're comparing if the inner HTML is equal to a category name. In that case, just do add active. Otherwise, remove it.
Right.
Okay. So now,
first if else you put on all the way on the top just because you want to all stay always active, right?
can you say that again?
The first if else you put for all, you just want it to be always the active, right?
Oh, over here?
Yeah.
Yes. Anytime we refresh the page, it should start from all. I mean, you can definitely change to something else, right? If you do lunch, it's going to start from lunch when your project refreshes.
Right.
When you refresh, the JavaScript will start from top to bottom again, from scratch. Okay, when you refreshed, it will start from top to bottom again, and it will regenerate these buttons, and it will recreate these menu items. Everything will be resetted when you refresh this page. Okay. And in that case, we want to make sure that we start from somewhere. So it makes sense to start from all. Okay, and it is displaying all. But when we click each individual button, this is where the things get changed, right? We're basically changing it. When I click it, I want to go over all of these buttons that I created, okay? And then for each button, I want to remove this active class. And again, right after removing it, I'm checking if the category name is equal to the button, the content that I'm clicking. And if it equals to that one, then I can just change the class name to active, or just add a class name called active. Right, drinks, it is changing background, it's adding a class name active. At the same time, it's filtering out. The filtering part is this part right here, right? And this, changing the background to active is this part right here. Okay. So as soon as we add menu buttons in our HTML, we can definitely do a constant cart button is equal to document that query selector. We have only one cart button. That's why we have just cart. Okay. For this, okay. For this cart button, I can just do cart dot add event listener. Okay, it's gonna be click event because it's a button, and we can run our function. Did you guys learn about arrow functions?
Yep.
Okay, so instead of doing a function, I can just use arrow function over here. Oops. Okay, so like this. So if I console log, displaying cart. Okay, if I click cart, it says displaying cart. Cart btn click function. Cart btn click function. Oh, this guy right here, it's not defined. Well, yeah, that's fine. It says that cart btn. Oh, so in that case, we don't have to worry about this guy right here. Right? We don't have to worry about it. What we have is right here, cart btn click function. So I thought that I don't have on click. That's why I tried to reach out to the cart button and then add event listener. You guys can definitely go this way, or since we added the function over here, what we can do here is function cart btn click function and console.log cart. Okay, your cart. Your cart. So what I can do over here is run this one right here. I can reset the menu list inner HTML. Okay. If I click cart, now everything is gone from my cart. And now I can display my items from my cart. Right? If I click all, now I can bring my all of this because every single button is also resetting my menu list. Okay. Because create menu items, we are calling it each time we are clicking a button, any button. And your cart is also click it right over here, and we are still resetting our menu list items. Okay, so I'm resetting it. Okay, I'm inside my cart. Okay, I will be doing the exact same thing over here, guys. I need to, of course, run a for loop. Okay, for loop. Okay, so inside over here, I don't care about these options. Okay, cart btn click function, menu list inner HTML fine, and I need to run a for loop. Now, what I'm running for loop against what? Which array of items? Not menu items. Okay, it's gonna be cart items, right? But of course, we don't have that array yet. Now we have to create that array. So constant cart items is equal to empty array. Okay, and now we can run for loop and create our cart items. Right. So if I do your cart, I don't have anything. Okay, I don't have anything. So it makes sense for us to let the users know that if the cart items is empty, we have to make sure that we display something over here saying that your cart is empty. Right? What we can do here is that if else run this one. Okay, else run the for loop. Okay, if cart items dot length is bigger than 0, right? If the cart items dot length is bigger than 0, in that case we can run this for loop. Okay, if the cart items is bigger than 0, in that case we can run this for loop, meaning that I would like to copy one of the items from here, from our data. Okay, copy, and let's assume that our cart contains an item inside it, like this. If my cart item that length is bigger than 0, meaning that I have one cart item, and because of that, it will generate, okay, it will generate this tag and add it to the menu list in your HTML. Right? So if I click your cart, now there is only one item in my cart. Right? But since we are starting from scratch, there's 0 items. So if I click your cart, there is nothing in here. But in else part right over here, I want to put something like a menu list that inner HTML, okay, is equal to, of course, it's going to be li, right? It's going to be definitely li, but nothing inside. I don't care about this content. What I want to put is a paragraph stating that your cart is empty. Okay, your cart is empty. If I click your cart is empty. Okay, any questions about that?
So how you increase that length? By clicking the button, right?
Individual add to cart button?
Yeah, increase the length of the cart items.
Okay, let's try to do that part. Cool. You guys can definitely put some styling for this empty paragraph. That's fine. We don't have to worry about that. But yeah, so breakfast, and if I click add to cart, let's not worry about the number over here. Okay, let's not worry about the number over here. What we need to worry about is that we are adding our item to the cart and the count number. Okay, the count number. So of course, everything is happening inside add to cart. So for each item that I have, create menu items, and this is creating a cart items, but this one is creating individual items over here, right? For individual buttons. So right over here, add to cart. On click, okay? On click, add item to cart. Add item to cart. And I would like to pass an event. Okay, I would like to pass an event. Maybe we can pass the ID. Do I have ID for each item? Let me see if I have an ID for each item.
Yeah, we have.
We have ID, yeah. So in that case, when I'm creating all of these items over here, I can pass the ID instead of event. I can pass the ID. So it's gonna be what? Item dot ID. Okay. At item to cart, we have to generate this, I mean, create this function, of course, right? Anywhere. So function add to cart, and we are grabbing ID of the item. So console.log ID. So if I click this breakfast, that's the ID number 1. Okay, we're just going from top to bottom, and this guy is number 2. And if I go all the way down and try to see this veggie burger, that's number 24. We have only 24 items. Now we're grabbing these numbers. Okay, the ID, we're good to go. All right, so based on this ID, right? Based on this ID, what's the type of the ID right now? The type?
Oh, the string.
It's a string. Okay. And do we have a string for each data? Its ID is a number. It's not a string. Right? If it was a string, then it was supposed to be like this, but it's not. Okay. So somehow we need to convert that number into a converted string when we are clicking into a number. Okay. So cart items over here. Yeah, that's fine. All right. Based on the ID, right? Based on the ID. Now, cart items is empty, right? The cart items is empty. Initially, it's empty. Based on the ID, we have to check if when I'm clicking add to cart, we have to check the cart item array if these pancakes exist in the cart items. Okay, we have to check if this buttermilk pancakes exist in our cart items. So we can create an variable to say let item exist. Okay, initially it's going to be false. And if else. If item exists, okay. Of course, before that we're going to be running for loop over here. Okay, we're going to run for loop for let item of cart items, and inside my for loop, I can check if item.id is equal to ID that I'm grabbing over here. Okay, in that case, I will be changing this item exists to true. If none of these IDs match, then it will skip this if statement, right? Then it will be still the same the value, false initial value. Okay, let's try to test it out. Console.log item exist. Item exist. Okay, here we go. So initial value is false for item exist. Okay, and I'm running through this for loop and the cart items, and I'm checking if item.id is equal to ID, then it means that the item exists will turn to true. But since my cart items, I don't have anything. Okay, so if I click this add to cart, item exists, it's false. It's still grabbing this initial value because it's not going to if statement anymore because I don't have that item in my cart. But if I put this veggie burger, no, I don't. Let's just grab the first item. the buttermilk. If I copy this one and put it inside my cart items over here, okay, and save it, okay. So now if I click diner double inside my cart, I only have buttermilk, right? If I come back all, if I click the diner double, it's going to be false because I don't have that item. But if I click this buttermilk pancakes, because buttermilk is inside my cart, and if I click add to cart, now item exist was supposed to be true. The problem with that is, as I said, the ID. Okay, this one is a string, but this one is a number. I can do the double equal sign, and it should be fine. So if I click buttermilk, it's turned to true because I do have in my cart this buttermilk pancakes. Okay, I do have buttermilk pancakes inside my cart. Okay, so now item exists is true because I do have that buttermilk pancakes. So based on the value of item exist, okay, if it does exist, okay, if it does exist, then increase the number that it has. Increase the number that it has. This count right here. Increase the number that it has. What I'm trying to say is that okay. This part is a little bit trickier because if for the next class on Wednesday, we're going to take a look into higher order functions. Okay, with the regular higher order function, it should be very easy. Okay, with the regular higher order functions. But let me ask you guys this. Do you guys know the higher order function called find?
No.
Like
No.
cart items that find. We have find and we
No.
also have find index. Okay, yeah, forget about it. So it's going to be a little bit trickier. So if you guys knew that, then we can go by that. But since we don't know it, in that case, we have to
Maybe you can explain now how the find works.
no, we're gonna take a look into that next class, right? So next
I
class,
mean, it's to make it our life easier for you and for us.
no, don't worry about that. I do have solution for that. Okay, so next class we have higher order functions, September 4th, and it's gonna be cool, right? Wait, how many people joined it? Let's see. Ah, cool. What I'm trying to say is that I need to grab the item that I'm trying to make some changes to. Okay, that's the issue. So I don't want to run another for loop over here since I already have a for loop over here. Good, right? So I'm finding this item, right? Item.id is equal to ID. So this item is my item, but it is inside my for loop. That's why we cannot go outside this for loop. This item will remain is valid only inside this curly braces, right? For loop. But somehow I need to assign this item that matching this ID to outside so that I can use it outside. So that I can use it outside. Okay. So I do have item exist, false. All right. What I can do here is that let item. Instead of going by the Boolean, I want to go by just undefined. Okay, and instead of assigning a Boolean value, I would like to assign the item itself. Okay, I would like to assign item itself. So, yes, item exists. No, item does not. Okay, I'm looping through it, and if the item that ID is matching with the ID, I'm assigning the item itself. Okay, so instead of item found, item exists, item found. Okay, it's going to be something like this. So item is found, and if the item is found, basically it's going to be object, and it will print out, yes, item exists, item found. But if item, basically it's going to be undefined. So in that case, if undefined, then it should run else part. Refresh the page. Do I have anything in my cart? Yes. But I would like to click something else. Diner double. If I click it, no. Item exists, does not, right? It doesn't exist in our cart. But if I click this, add to cart buttermilk pancakes, as you guys can see, yes, item exists, and it's printing out the item found to me. All right, so you can either go by the Boolean and or this way is much better. We're looping through it, cart items, and try to find if this item.id is matching with the ID that we are clicking to the button. If it does exist, okay, if it does exist, then in that case, we can just do item found that count plus plus. Which means that if this item exists in my cart, then it already has count 1. All right, it already has count 1. So if it doesn't find anything, then in part over here, guys, inside this guy over here, what we can do here is that, oops. What we can do here is that item found that count is equal to 1. We are initializing. Okay, we are initializing. So at the end of after this everything over here, what I want to do is console log my cart items. Cart items. Right? I would like to console log my cart items. So yeah, let me take out this guy over here, because we don't have count for this one, right? That's why it will complain that there's no undefined. So let's start from constant cart items, empty array, and right over here, this function will print out the cart items that we have. Okay, so if I click at the cart, okay, refresh, the cart is empty. Okay. Cart items, item found, item found that count is equal to 1.
It's because in our data we don't have the count object. If you go to our data.
Oh yeah, you're right actually. Yeah.
Because like we are searching the item of cart items, but our cart items is now empty.
Yeah, the cart items is empty. You're right. Yes. Well, so what I was gonna do is, of course, we need to push the item first, right? Cart items that push. This is what I forgot. So if item found, which means we found the item, our item is inside the cart items, and we're just increasing it. But since we don't have the item inside our cart items, we have to push it first. We need to push this item found first, and then we can increase the count. We can just add additional property, okay, which is count is equal to 1. This should give us the answer. So if I don't have anything in my cart, yes. If I click add to cart, setting count, cart items that push item found.
But you didn't identify here any data. Where is the data came from? Our cart items is empty. Item found is empty. Where is he gonna get the data?
Yes, you're right. It's still, we still have some problem over here. Okay. So in that case, do we have to?
It's because no, I mean, like, can you go to the data itself, the first line? If you go to the data for the first line and open, we don't have the count here. Maybe that's why.
That's correct. Yes, we don't have the count. Yes. We don't have the count. Yep. 1 second, guys. So what I'm doing over here, each time I'm clicking at the card, I'm looping through it. I'm trying to find the item. If the item found, then which means that I do have card items and I do have items that have found the count, right? I'm just increasing it. That's it. But the problem is that when my cart is empty, my cart is cart items, okay, is still empty. Okay, cart items is still empty. Then I have to make sure that I'm pushing this item found. Yes, I push this item found.
The question is, what did you push?
Yeah, so yeah, we couldn't find the item. Yes, we couldn't find the item because we don't have it yet. In that case, guys, in that case, let item found. So the problem is that right over here, I'm pushing just undefined, right? Because which means that it's undefined. I'm just pushing undefined. Okay, so
I guess it's based on ID. It has to find the data, right? From the list of data. Or am I wrong?
Oh, here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing. So if I can find in my car, okay, I can increase the count. But what if I can't find it? What if I can't find it? Then it means that I have to search from the data itself. Okay.
Yeah, this is what I say.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I need to find from the data itself. For let item of cart items, let item found. Yes. If the item is found, then this one. If the item is not found, then it means that right over here, constant item is equal to still I have to run a for loop, right? Inside my else statement, I have to run for loop to find the item that matching with ID from my global data array. Because if it's found inside my cart items, we're gonna go by over here. If it doesn't found, then it means that we somehow need to find the item from our data and push it to the cart and change the count. Okay, so let item find for loop let okay, so new menu item, and then this one will be item of data, and then same thing, if item.id is matching with the ID, then I have to push this one into my cart. Okay, I have to push this one into my cart. Of course, I have to I can assign this item to my new menu item. Okay, and then new menu item that count is equal to 1. Forget about this guy. And now I can display my cart items. All right, let's try this way. So if I click add to cart, item exists, does not. Okay, so add to cart, still undefined. What am I doing wrong over here? Let item found. If the item found is that one, then I can increase the count by ++. I want to see this part first. I want to see that part first. So for that.
But what if you first loop, when you did the first loop, you just grabbed not the cart item, just put the data there. The first loop. Yes, here. The let item of the cart items.
Mm-hmm.
What if you put just the data there? So
So where do I grab the data?
Like you have the global data, doesn't it?
That's what I'm doing over here.
Okay, I just don't understand the first loop. What you do
So the first loop, right? The first loop. Here's the thing, guys. When I'm clicking this add to cart, initially I don't have any I don't have any items in my cart, right? But when I click a second time, like when I clicked first time and it's added. But when I click second time, this is what I'm doing over here. This is for the second time click. I'm trying to search if the item that I'm clicking is already there in my cart items. If it is already there, then I'm coming right over here and increasing this count by 1, basically making it 2. If I click it again, it will come increase by 3. I mean, increase by 1.
So when you do if item equals to the ID, can you please if item ID equals to ID, then you have to put the count inside of this function, no? Because when you're saying, for example, if ID equals to ID, okay, let's say the found, then the item found equals to item. So why will like item found equals to item?
Okay. That's actually
Okay.
The item is matching. Yeah, okay. So for let item of cart items, if item.id is matching, in that case,
So
we can definitely put over here. But we still have to have a if else statement, right? We still need
so
to
maybe we have to put if item found is more than 0. In a second, if you line 3 yes. Because it's not true false right now. It's just item found
right
equals to
undefined.
it's undefined, yes, but here it's
equal
here
to
it's gonna
object.
be
Object, yeah.
Yeah, it's not undefined anymore, right?
It's an object, yeah. It's the whole individual data, yeah. Individual object like this object right here, when it's found.
Yes. And maybe the conditions.
Okay, when it's found, it's individual like this. Let's try to Let's try to see this part, guys. Let's try to see this part.
Okay.
So just grab this guy. Okay. Let's see if it is really increasing the count of the item if it's found. Okay, so I would like to come over here to my card. Oh, I passed too much. So let me just remove this, minimize these functions, create menu items. Don't care about that. Search, don't care about that. Card items over here. Okay, and I put the count as initial 1, assuming that there's only 1. So if I click your card, there's only 1. Okay, because the
veggie burger.
Yes, veggie burger. So come back to all and go down to veggie burger. Let me just change to number 1. Okay, so we are in ID 1. Where's my?
You just changed the ID, but the title, everything's.
Yeah,
veggie burger.
Oh, I see what you say. Oh my goodness. Oh
Or
my
you
God.
need to copy everything from that.
That's fine. That's fine. Veggie
Okay,
burger. Okay. So if I click add to cart, all right, cool. So this is my cart items right here, and it is changing the count by 2. All right, this is fine. And if I click the veggie burger again, it should be count. That should be 3 for the same item. Is it? Yes, count 3. So this part is working fine, right? Right over here is working fine because the item exists and we click it 3 times. It doesn't matter how many times you click, right? Um, we don't have button, so I have to click the veggie. Yes, sir. Veggie burger. So what's the problem now? Your card, yeah. So if I click add to cart, it's working. Yeah, it's working fine now. Yep. So if I check the card, how many times did I click? 14 times. Yeah, this part is working fine. Because I do have that item in my cart, but we're trying to solve the problem where the data is not in my cart items. Okay.
I guess I know why. Because we don't have the else statement. If item ID is not equal to item. Right?
Yeah, that's my question too. Like
we don't have the else statement. Okay, what if it's item dot ID? It's not equal to ID. Then another function happen.
So in that case, inside my for loop, right? Inside my for loop, yeah, but if I
not find the ID, then else statement. Where is it?
Yeah,
because it just stopped. It just stopped. For example, if you didn't find it, then it's just stopped. Yeah, here it needs to be.
Yeah, that is correct. But let's assume that there is 10 items in my cart, right? And one of them is matching. But if none of them is matching, I will just run this else statement 10 times if none of them is matching. Okay, let's assume that we couldn't find the item in my cart items, then this else part will be run 10 times. So what are you gonna do? What do you want to do in this else part? We can't do anything in the else part, right? So I know in the else part you want to run this for loop and find the item and then assign blah blah blah, but you're going to be running 10 times this part right here for no reason. What I want is that if the item is found, yeah, assign the item to the item found. And based on that item, okay, but if you do this one right here, you will be running only 1 time. But if you put else statement, okay, and if item.id is matching, yes, okay. But if it doesn't match, then you're saying that run the for loop inside else state over here. We cannot do that because let's assume that 10 items and none of them is matching, then you have to run this part right here 10 times.
Can you show us that wrong example? That what kind of mistake can we do if we put inside else?
The wrong example?
I mean, like, let's assume that we did it. Yes, let's assume that you didn't explain us it's gonna run 10 times. What's gonna happen then next?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Sometimes it's better for us to see the mistake itself.
Yes. So if item doesn't found, we want to make sure that we're on the for loop. Okay. We're on the for loop over here. For loop over here, and inside our for loop, which will be run like 10 times if the count length is 10, right? Which we will run this 10 times. And let's assume that this data contains 24 items, which we will run this for loop like 240 times. Because 10 times multiplied by the data contains 24 items. So 10 times.
Oh, I guess it's a better idea to run now, right? Because it's gonna crash our browser.
Exactly. So it does make it, yeah. I mean, this way is more resource consuming and time consuming than this part right here. Okay, so this part we're just searching through it, and if item is found, then we'll just assign that item to our item found, and then based on that item found, we're running only one time for loop. I mean, this for loop is run 24 times, but just one time, right? It's better than the 240 times. So
okay, never mind. Just delete this part. No, I got you.
All right, so looks like I'm missing console.log. Yeah. Oh, okay. So what am I missing here? Okay, so this needs to be commented out too. Yeah, because that belongs to that one. So let's bring it back, guys. Item found. We know that this part is working fine. And else part. In the else part, we're trying to grab that item from our data and push it to our cart. Oh, I need to remove this if item that I don't need that item, right? So, sorry, I need that. Sorry, if item that ID is matching with the ID, yes. New menu item is equal to item.
So let's assume that in our new menu item, we have several items. And when you do that new menu item, dot count equals to 1.
Guys,
so it's gonna add.
I made a mistake over here, guys. Item found. I was supposed to push new menu item, not the new item found. This was the mistake. Okay, now we should be fine now. So in my cart, I have veggie burger, but I would like to push this buttermilk. Yep, you see that? Buttermilk with ID 1. Okay, and the count is 1. All right, so if I click buttermilk again, see, so buttermilk, the count should be 2. Now it's working fine. All right, so diner double, yep, number 3. We have only 3 items, and diner double, the count should be 1. The mistake was new item found was over here instead of a new menu item. Okay, the thing about, guys, sorry, one thing to keep in mind is that what am I doing over here?
You are adding the item to the
Yes.
menu item.
Yes, I'm assigning the same object, okay, to a new object. Let's take an example, guys. Let AA. Okay, so name is equal to Alex. Okay, let BB is equal to AA. All right. So if I change BB that name to let's say John. Okay, so BB is what? Name John. What about my AA?
It's still Alex.
No, it's John.
Mm.
So that's the reference based. Okay, so this AA and BB are pointing to the same reference in our memory. Okay, we need to somehow create a different copy of that things. Okay, so let AA Alex. Yep. But when I'm creating this BB, instead of doing like assigning the exact copy of AA, we need to do a spread operator. You guys
that's
remember?
why you put item found count plus.
Yes. So I'm assigning the clone of this AA, not exact same thing. Okay, not exact same thing. So in this case, guys, if I do BB that name is equal to John, and if I check BB is fine. Yeah, name is John. But what about AA? AA is still Alex. This should be our solution right over here. Using the spread operator, we're basically creating a clone of this AA. Okay, we're creating the clone of this AA. The things change, guys. Things change when we do this one. So when we do this one right here, it will be cloned in the first level only. It will just clone all of these items. Okay, it will be completely different values. I mean, the values would be exact same thing, but it's going to be completely different object. But what if, right? What if we have something like this? Alex, object, an object inside another object. H is equal to 100. So my AA is name and AA is object, but there's another object inside my AA, right? Object. Cool. So if I do this one right here again, right? Spread operator, trying to create a clone. All right. Okay, I created a clone again. But if I change bb that object that age is equal to 200, right? Now bb is name Alex and object has an age 200. But what about my AA? Since I'm using this one. AA, okay. Okay, so let me change the name for the bb2. bb that name is equal to John. All right, so bb has name John and object age 200. But AA will have the name Alex, but the object will be changed to 200. So if I check AA, name is Alex, but the object age 200. Because cloning using the spread operator, okay, cloning our object to another object using the spread operator like this will only copy the values in the first level, meaning that as soon as you enter this object, these are the values in the first level. But if it is like inside object, another inside object, then in that case, it's not gonna clone those objects. Okay, it's not gonna clone those objects. Basically, we're not cloning this object over here. And they will be referencing this object inside AA will be referencing to the same point in the memory as BB. As BB object.
Can we do the double spreads?
No, we cannot do that. No, we cannot. I mean, what do you mean? Like,
Yes, Doug, AA, and Doug, like object.
no, we don't do that. We don't do that. We have some cloning functions. It's like a new third-party package we can install, use it, or we can just create a function, right? We will come to that point where we use some cloning objects. Okay, don't worry about that. But for now, since we don't have any inner objects inside our regular object, so we just can do this item right here, wrap it, and put spread operator. Okay, wrap it.
So it's because we don't want to change the original one, we just want to clone.
We don't want to change the original data. That is correct. That's the whole idea. Right? That's the whole idea.
Okay.
Stay away from changing the original data.
Oh, what do you mean, the original data, the global data, you mean?
Global data over here, yes. I mean, in some instances, if you have to change, yeah, you can definitely change it. Okay.
But even if you put just the equals to item, it's not gonna change because we are taking that from or from.
Okay.
Can you go back?
Yeah, how about this? How about this? Instead
No.
I'm assigning this item, right? I'm assigning this item. And okay, count one. And same thing, new menu item that what do I have? What do I have? Do I have 1 second, guys? Create. Oh, I do have title. Okay. I want to change this title to something else. Right. So right now I'm just referencing to the same point in the memory and title something else. Okay.
Okay.
So veggie burger. Do I have anything in my cart? Yes, veggie burger. Okay. So go back, and if I click add to cart, all right, I'm increasing it, but let's click something else, right? Other than veggie burger. Let me click this kids roasted chicken. Okay, kids something else. I put title something else. All right, so
but it's
something else, right? It's something else. So if I click all, something else. Did you see that? I'm changing the original data. I went back to your card, which displays the card. Yeah, right? It displays the card as something else because we changed it. But since this data that we added to card is referenced to the same point in the memory as the data that we have originally. That's why we can still see something else over here. So if I click add to cart buttermilk, yep, I'm adding it a third thing, right? But before I don't refresh it. If you refresh it, it will be the same data that we originally start, right? So, but I would like to click your cart. Yes, both of them are something else, because I'm changing something else. So now if I go back to all, see, instead of buttermilk pancake, it is something else. So basically we're manipulating the original data over here. But if I do this one, okay, if I do this one, there's only veggie burger. Come back, yep, buttermilk. I added buttermilk to my, okay, something else, that's fine. But if I click all again, it's still buttermilk. It's not something else.
So we can say here the data is AA, new menu items is BP. So, and we are trying
yes.
to change, yeah, okay.
Yep, item is AA, and new menu item
New menu item is BB. Okay. Thank you.
Absolutely.
So you're doing that because you want to put the counter and also add the remove button in your cart?
That is correct. Yes. So when we are creating our cart buttons, right? Create menu items, create blah, blah, blah. Okay, where's my create cart items? Forget about this. It's working fine now. Okay, here, cart button click function when we are creating over here. Instead of add cart, we'll just put remove. Okay, we can add remove. At the same time, guys, since we are creating our cart items, right? So this item will contain item.count now. All right, these items will contain item.count now. So when I click your cart, right? I should have kept it over here, but yeah, let me item.description and item.title, item.price. I want to add another span over here, maybe just another thing, and put it right here, the count. Okay, and count is going to be item.count. So save it. Okay, add buttermilk, add diner double, click it one more time, click both one more time. And if I click your cart, you see that? I clicked 5 times and I clicked 2 times.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, that one. How about we take 10 minutes break and continue working on it?
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
All right. Any questions, guys?
No questions.
Cool. So yeah, that was it for the restaurant menu. I mean, you guys can definitely improve over here, putting like minus and plus buttons over here, increasing the values. Okay, but it's up to you guys. We can move on to the next one. Cool. Where did it go? I shared the link, sorry, the code in Slack chat. You guys can take a look. Cool. So let's take a look at this one, guys. So it's pretty simple to work on. Basically, next function. Let's start with the next function. So when I click this button, right, what am I increasing over here, guys? So console.log, current index. Sorry, let's just increase it and then try to print out the current index. Right. So if I click next, basically it was in index 0. Okay. Yeah, it was in index 0. Now it's in index 1. If I click it again, now it's in index 2. Let's take a look if it's accent chair is the right item for our display. Okay, accent chair, carousel data, accent chair. Yes. So in index 2, we are displaying the right image. We're good on that. Okay. So when it comes to index 11, okay, current index is 11. Right after we increase it, after increasing, current index is 11. But we want to make sure that we do not exceed beyond this current index, because there is no 12 after there is no index 12. Right? The length is 12, but the last index is 11. So what I would like to do is put if statement over here. Okay, so if else, if current index, okay, I want to check if the current index, what can I do over here?
If current index dot length more than, or if current index more than the current index dot flex, right?
Current index is smaller than 12.
No, we don't know that it's 12 exactly.
No,
But we can...
the smaller, no, not the smaller than, okay? We have to look into like if it is above the current index 11, right? If it is above the last index, how can I find the last index?
Last index of?
Yeah, the last index of the data that I have original data.
It's higher order function, the last index of.
No, not like that. So now I do have carousel data, right? That's my data. And if I do that length, I can find my length of my, right? So if I do -1, it's going to give me the last index, right? This is what I was trying to figure out. Yeah, this carousel data dot length -1 will give me the last index. And we are dealing with the index over here, right? The current index. Okay. What we can do here is that we can either do if the current index is equal to, right, carousel data at length -1. Okay.
Yeah.
If the current index is carousel data at length -1, then I would like to change this current index back to
Zero.
0. Yes, back to 0. What I want is that if the current index is 11, don't increase it. Just make the current index back to 0. Right? If the current index is not equal to the last index, then keep doing what? Keep increasing it. Okay, basically this guy right here. Okay, keep increasing it. And then based on the current index, display my show a slide. Display my show slide. Okay, so if I keep going, right after 11, okay, now it switched back to 0. Did you guys see that? Switch back to 0, and show a slide, this guy right here, is displaying the slide based on the current index. Since I switched my current index to 0, that's why it is displaying back to 0. It's making the block and active for that dot. All right, it's making. So what about the previous function? I'm clicking previous function, right? I'm clicking previous function. What is the first index of my array? 0, right? So right over here, guys, right over here, if I keep minusing it, okay? Why did I delete my current index? I don't understand. Current index minus minus. Okay. First of all, let me increase it. But if I click minus, right, it's in index 3, index 2, index 1, index 0, and index minus 1. There's no such a thing index minus 1, right? Because it cannot display it. There's no data such a thing. Okay, right over here, slides minus 1, it cannot display the data because we don't have that data. So I can put the same if else statement over here. If else. What can I say over here? If current index, we can compare by, since we compared by the last index, now we can compare backwards based on the what? The first index, right? If my current index is equal to 0, okay, what can I do? Make the current index is equal to what?
Carousel data length minus 1.
Exactly, yep. So basically they're like a rotation, like a loop. If it is beyond 0, then start from the other side. If it is above last index, then start from scratch from 0, okay? If you go this way, it just loops like this. If you go this way, it can loop like this, clockwise or counterclockwise. All right? So this is what we do. If the current index is 0, then change the current index back to the last index. If it is not 0, then keep doing what? Then keep decreasing it. And then show a slide. All right, so go forward and go backwards. Now I'm starting from the last one. Okay, 11, 10, 9, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. And if I click one more time, since the current index is 0, and it's just switching back to 11. Okay, current index switched back to 11. All right, so this is good to go. So one of the functionalities of this project was clicking this guy right here. Okay, this guy right here for each dot. Those dots create each slide, is creating each slide over here, and create each dot over here. Create each dot over here was creating each dot. Okay, dots. I mean, you don't have to type it, but yeah, basically those are the dots. Okay. So basically I have to add on click for each dot. Okay. So it's gonna be dot function. All right. It's gonna be dot function. So when I'm creating each slide, I'm passing index. I can do the same thing for create each dot. I can pass the same index down to my dots. Okay. So if I'm passing down this index down here, so basically I am getting this index and I would like to pass this index down to my dot function. Okay, down to my dot function. So basically a dollar curly braces index.
Let me just remind me quickly, what was the index?
So the index is coming from here, guys. So for let I, we chose to go with the let index 0. Index is less than carousel data dot length, and index.
Okay.
Okay, this is the index of each data that we have inside our carousel data.
0 to 11. Okay.
Yeah, 0 to 11 exactly. Yep. Index is 0 through 11. And I'm passing down this index to my create each dot. And inside my create each dot function, I'm receiving this parameter index, okay? And I'm passing down this index down to my dot function. So if I create this function dot function, and I do have index over here, right? Index. So console.log index, right? So if I click this guy, that's index 0. If I click this, the last one, index 11, okay? It's definitely displaying each index for my that function. Okay. So basically, guys, basically, when I click this guy right here, what exactly am I changing? When I click this guy or this guy or this guy, what is exactly changing?
Index number.
Index number is changing, but what exactly changing when I click next function? Like next function, what is changing? What is this?
Current index. What was it? I
Current
don't remember.
Yes, the current index is changing. Okay, refresh. The current index is changing. Based on the current index, I'm displaying the item, the data. Every time I click next function or previous function, my current index is changing, and based on the current index change, I'm displaying the data. The same thing for clicking each dot. If I click this,
You can.
I can
Current
exactly
index equal to index, right?
exactly, yeah. So current index is equal to index. All right. And what am I gonna run? Show a slide. Okay. Since each next function or current previous function, as soon as my current index changes, I'm running show a slide. The same thing happens for this dot function. As soon as I change my current index to index, I need to run show a slide. Okay. So if I click this guy, now see, Utopia sofa change it. If I click this 11, leather sofa, and my things change it because of my show a slide. My current index change it, and based on the current index change, I am displaying specific styling for the dots and specific slide over here in the middle. Index 0, yep, this data. Index 8, this data. And same thing goes, since my current index is 8, my next function will pick up the current index. My next function will pick up the current index. All right, so if I click next, now moving to the 9, next 10, next 11. But if I click in the middle and click next again, it will just go from there. 11, now go back. It's working fine. That's the only thing we needed for that function, and that's the only thing we needed for previous and next functions. At the same time, guys, at the same time right here, 112, if I click any dot, it's changing, right? That's 10. So 11, or that's a 12, item 12. This one is item 1. This one is also changing accordingly. All right, any questions? Cool. 7 o'clock. All right.
Thanks God for the bootstrap.
Bootstrap?
Yeah, we just can copy paste from there in your HTML, all this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it can definitely be done with Bootstrap. So I have a question to you guys. Do you guys want to do a project as a team, like whatever you have, like 3 students? I'm going to give you guys project, or we can start working on to-do list.
Let's do the project. Maksat, Janar,
Yeah, let's go. We can be one team.
yeah.
Cool. Yeah, let's just open up our DOM code starter. It's going to be existing project, right? Don't forget about the to-do list. It's going to be existing project, city tabs.
It is the same repository what you said before?
The same,
It's
yeah, the same
different.
repository, the DOM starter code collection, yes.
Oh, then
You guys need it? Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'll just copy it and paste it in the Zoom chat. Okay. So open up this city tabs. Okay. And this is the starter code, right? So you can go through this HTML, index HTML. But this one is hard coded. Everything is hard coded. What I want you guys is go to the script.js. Okay. The script.js contains the city data. Right? The city data. There's a lot of data. Now,
What?
the city data. So I added this part right here, choose a city. Okay. As soon as you change this, so basically, in the UI, you guys may have to make sure that, right? You guys have to make sure that right over here we have a select. Okay. Instead of putting this manually, you guys need to make sure that this one generated dynamically based on the data we have. Right? The city name, Shreveport. Okay. So instead of putting these options individually, manually, you guys need to remove this guy right here. Okay. And generate these data based on the data city names that we have inside our city data. That's the first, just like we generated our restaurant menu buttons, okay? Based on the data, we generated that. Yeah, exactly same thing what we had in the restaurant menu. You guys can take a look. But the same thing goes for these guys over here. So this one, for instance, is a class title, okay? And sorry, this article, okay? So this article and this data will be generated based on the change in our select, based on the change in our select. So if I click select and choose something else, some other city, my data will be changed accordingly over here. Right? It's going to be about something else, like some other, about New York or about some other city name. And all of these data will be generated based on the data we have for that city, selected city, right? History, vision, and goals. Okay, history for that city, vision, goals. And about is also about part that we have over here, about right here. That's the text for the about. Now, our data contains every single thing that we need for our UI. Okay. Any questions related to this?
And also those buttons, right? The vision, goals, and history. So I have
Yeah, everything, the styling is already there for you guys, right? The only thing, maybe, let me show you guys over here. So instead of to-do list, let me copy paste. I can copy paste over here. Yes. All right, cool. So if I do go live on the right side, yeah, cool. So about Shreveport, okay? This is starter code. Whatever I have in the thing, this is the starter code. So in this choose a city, if I click, I only have 4 of them because my index contains only 4 of them. Okay. So if I change to Casper, now about should change to Casper, and this lorem will be changed based on the data. And these history, vision, goals will be changed based on the data I have. for the specific city. Okay, it should be very easy. I already have select element selected over here. That's for in the index. Okay, that's for this select element right here. All right, so basically you need to run a for loop for the city data. Okay, and try to generate each option and put it inside select element inner HTML. Plus is equal to, okay? You guys think you can do that?
We
Yeah,
need to try.
at least
Try
we
it
have
out.
an example. So,
Try it out. Yep. So for this, cool. Stop sharing. Let's see. Breakout rooms. Open all.
You don't need to create the. Okay.
Just in case someone needs to join this group,